Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Pusha Preme, aka Billboard Preme, your favorite mask assassin, and you're here with 91 TV. You heard? Tune in.
So Pusha Preme, I gotta just go ahead and start off by saying, man, the swag is crazy. Bro.
I appreciate it, man.
Where does this come from? Well, first, where did you get that mask?
Well, me and Katrina Wilson, we did a collab on it. So I've been making masks for like, I want to say for like a good chunk of my career. It really just came from just me trying to just separate the artist from the personal, so I'd be able to kind of like enjoy life and still be the artist. So it's like Eddie Brock and Venom kind of thing. So we're one, but we're sharing the host together.
You give me designer vibes. Was fashion a thing for you growing up?
You know, it's so funny that you're probably like the first person to say that. Yeah, for real. Like, you know, all of my homies would tell you, I used to sell clothes in school. So when I had moved from New York to Florida, my mother was big into fashion. She used to actually work in the factories. So I'm a first-line immigrant, so my mother's from Sierra Leone. So she used to come and she left getting her master's in Alabama, got pregnant, and had me in New York. So we was living in New York, but she was working in Manhattan, but she has a master's, and she was working in the fabric stores. So she used to always like draw dresses and things like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, she used to always have the cut-ups of the women. So that was like focus for me. Like every time she was spending time with her, that's what I was doing. So in school, I took I took a sewing class, but I had the yard of like Gucci material and all that other shit, like Fendi purse and stuff like that. I used to cut them up and then make little designs and sell them in school. So I guess this is kind of like the unveiling of that. Like it was eventually going to happen, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different origins, you know, like a lot of my uncles, since we're Sierra Leone, we perform in masks. It's like normal for us, things of that nature. So I just think it's like one big ass like Black Panther reunion for everything that's going on right now.
That's very dope, very dope. Okay, so tell me a little about the influence with your family being from Sierra Leone. And you currently live in?
Florida, I'm in Tampa.
And how long have you been out there?
I've been in Tampa for I say like 20 years, almost, like on and off. I've been there since 2000.
So most of your life in Tampa. So tell me about the influence with your family being from Sierra Leone and what that played in your life growing up in Tampa.
Yo, the strictest parents in the world. The shit was crazy. And it was just my mother. So, you know, more power to all single mothers out there. I always like salute them, even though it's a crazy ass situation, but still to be able to raise a child by yourself is difficult. I have a child, so it's not easy doing it by yourself. So my mother did it, and then, you know, the only kind of background preference she had was just to be like the best, you know what I'm saying? Like everything was always just highly pressured, because when you're African, it's like you have to keep up with like the world. You know what I'm saying? You don't have as much resources, things like that, so you have to work twice as hard. You feel me? Like, you don't know no struggles unless you have to like read a book with a candle. Like, we don't know that struggle, so imagine that kind of focus, and they had to distill to me as a child in America. That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like she taught me obedience and to never quit. Cause she could have quit, you know what I'm saying? She could have just been like a whack ass mom, like whatever. But she went hard, you know, she got us out the Bronx, got us into Queens, and from Queens she got us to Tampa, you know? So God bless that one, because like if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here. But there's so many people that kind of like feed into it, you know what I mean?
Right, okay. So your mother influenced you a lot with fashion when you guys lived in New York. Mm-hmm. When did music come into play?
Music came into place when I moved to Florida. I think because at the time I was like a real shy person. I mean, you could tell, like I'm not really like a very outside person. So I used to write a lot of love letters. I was really good at that. And I would like sneak them off, you know what I'm saying? That was like my love language. And then when I saw that, you know, some of my peers was looking at that like, yo, but that's rapping. So you rap. And then I'm a very competitive person. So when I used to see everybody else like get into the battle rapping, that's how I kind of got in. So, you know, trying to construct the bars and stuff like that. And then I found a beauty in it, just being able to like take words and kind of just shape them to whatever your imagination is. I'm a very like colorful person. So I was just like, yo, this is it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm gonna put my head at. And I've tried to step away from music plenty of times, like to go hoop, you know, to just be like a better boyfriend, to be a father, but the shit keeps following me. It's like fucking, you ever seen the Christmas carols with fucking, I'm like Goofy. It's like when Goofy kept following Scrooge, like that's how it be. So I just turned around and just like, all right, I'm not running no more, let's make this happen. He's like, yo, that's all I've been trying to tell you, like, let's go, you know?
Okay, so now what was life growing up like in Tampa?
Oh man, it was in the beginning. It was tough because it took a lot of getting used to. Because I moved in there when I was in high school, so you know everything in New York is like 10 times 2. You know what I'm saying? Everything is double up, double up, double up. So you know it could be a paradise if you're provided with the right tools. But Tampa is just like any other city. It's a growing city, so it's like you have to move with the times or you get left behind.
Okay, was it the area you grew up in? Was it a rougher area, or what was that like?
I would say it's mid. It was mid area. It's you know, it wasn't as rough as New York,
Right.
but it was still tough because it's like you live in this area, but you only have enough money for the bills. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you technically don't belong here if you can't afford it. You know what I mean? That's like buying a fucking Audi and you're making $700 payments, but you only get paid $800.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't live off that. So it was real strenuous for her and for our family in a whole. And I think Tampa provides you can have like a decent life. You can have like a nice little, like every weekend I do some stuff kind of life, or you could be single and then, you know, you can live the bachelor life. It all depends on the tools you're given.
Hey, now, as far as your music, you give me the rap nerd vibes. And that's not an insult at all.
No,
Those
not
are
at
my
all.
favorite rappers. Like
Appreciate
I
that.
get like the Denzel Curry vibe, things like that. Who were some of your influences growing up when it came to music?
Growing up, I would have to say it was Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and then like just spurts of everybody else. Like whoever was like the leader of the network at that time. So
Right,
if it was like Nas, then like Nas or Ludacris, because these people were just putting out like, hi, you know, I didn't have to make a choice because everyone was just putting out good shit. You know, I wasn't really picky, but I always kept Jay-Z like, he would be like the father, and then you have like the son and everybody else underneath there. So as long as Jay-Z was making music, I was content.
So what do you value when it comes to rap?
Ooh, that was a good question. I value the stories. As I got older and then working in the music business, just to keep my sanity, I value more so the sonic energies. So it's like when I hear a song and it makes me feel some kind of way instantly. So that's been like an addiction for me. So I like a lot of things that was on the Donda record, a lot of things that's on CLB, Baby King's album as well too, because they understand production and today's emotion. Today has like a certain emotion, like the 60s had a particular sound, so has the 70s and the 80s. And this is today's sound. It's very like crossover rockish, and we're a live band, so we're already doing that. So to see that everyone's kind of like catching up lets us know that we're getting closer to the goal.
Did you always have this style, or was it something that had to develop? Because you know,
I think I had to stop being scared, man. Like
Right.
when I started making the mask and I was getting chastised for it, it was crazy. And I was like, I'm just being myself. Like I'm not even trying to like do this and I'm just like, surprise, nigga. It's like, no, it's like this is me 20, I'm committed to my artistry. And I feel like, you know, me fighting through all that and then seeing like the fruits of my labor kind of grow, I think that's creating like a new form of ambition for everybody to kind of just be themselves, just trust yourself. So that's what I started doing. I started trusting myself and then getting just more flexible with the music. Now I'm doing Afro beats, which is crazy because I'm African. I should have been doing Afro beats. But when you're living in New York, you're not doing Afro beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You spitting. You move to Florida, you're not doing spitting. You're doing like crunk shit. You feel me? Like I mean, I don't know if crunk's a term, but y'all watching, y'all know what I'm talking about. So now it's like, it's not even no box and it's so much easier. It makes me feel good. Like I can listen to my music and like take a shower. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you get too much rap, you don't want to hear rap. You know what I'm saying? You want to hear something else in the car. I feel like the embodiment, the progression of the music that we're making as a team, because it's not just me, has been like very universal.
Okay. One thing I always point out to rappers, you're very well spoken for a rapper.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Where does that come from? Because like you said, with the influence in this culture, you know, back in the days, you almost got made fun of just for speaking proper. But it's definitely a skill that, you know, I feel you should give flowers to people when they have good articulation.
I try. I just try to make sure I communicate with people who I feel like have the same feeling that you just said. Like, you know, like my brother Nova, Jay Brown, they speak very well. And, you know, I think it's important to articulate because these are spells. So each word has a combination and a pronunciation for a reason. And if I say it wrong, then you might not get how I feel. Then I have to spin the block again to tell you how I feel. So I've been understanding that more. And my wife's been helping me with that too, just understanding, you know, because I just hate like large body text. You know what I'm saying? I get that shit at, you know, like when you anybody who works a day job, you get that shit all day long. It's just so exhausting. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the reason why.
Okay, and so what I pick up on is you're pretty big on spirituality, energy, things like that.
Definitely.
Give me a little glimpse into your world of spirituality. What's that like? What's your philosophy?
I feel like there's a God, definitely. There's definitely a creator, and I feel it all comes down to, do you recognize that this is the host? Like, you're inside your host, and you have to be able to keep this machine going. The machine's it's like a car. It's like, it's gonna turn on, you know, if you feed it the right fuel and things of that nature. It's gonna drive, but are you mistreating it? Are you putting too many people in the car? Are you putting the right kind of gas? Or you're not washing, or you're not cleaning it? And that's the same thing with the human body. I think that's the purpose, is keeping this going, because once the car dies and turns off, we don't know what happens afterwards, but the world continues on. You know what I'm saying? Not to ramble, but it's like, I know people gonna be like, yo, this nigga's wilding, but no, but it's real. If you think of it like that, you'll understand things a lot more. So like, when people drive through rain, they're like, yo, this is, but you also drive through sunshine. You also go through autumn, you go through seasons, stuff like that. So I try to keep as mellow as possible, you know, and then just stick with the energies that revert back to me.
You believe in manifesting?
Yeah. I mean, because we about to open for Nas, and I manifested that shit last year. I told him we was gonna do Gasparilla Music Festival, but I didn't know it was gonna be for Nas. But I knew we was gonna do the festival because we had just did a residency at the Renaissance in Tampa, Florida. So I was just like, damn, we doing residencies for a fashion show? I was like, yo, we might have our niche. You know what I'm saying?
Congrats on that. I'm real big on manifesting things. So, I need the exclusive. You heard it here first on 91 TV. What are you going to manifesting for the next 5 years? Where you going to be at? What's coming?
The next 5 years? So I already got a billboard. So my next is, I want to get an iTunes plaque. I want to hit 1 million streams, and I want to be back here. I want to be back here and then filling you guys in on the rest of the story. But I think it's, you know, it's going to be something to where you're going to be like, damn, like, if I had that kind of belief in myself, that small little mustard seed, I can do anything. So I don't want to create a thing, but I think it's going to be big though, for real.
It's definitely going to be big. Now, from what I hear, you're selling out shows at this point.
Yeah, so we had 2 shows that we did at the city. We actually just came back from doing a tour, like a small little inner city tour. And you know, it's been a blessing, man. Sometimes I don't even know how it happens. I feel like I don't have enough time to promote and do everything else, but it always turns out really well for us. So, you know what I mean? The last show that we had was for the Billboard, so it was dope. We had the pictures, we had the DJ, the radio was backing us up. We had gift bags and things like that. We did a book. You know what I mean? It was crazy. It was real crazy. I gotta send you some of the merch from that pack.
Definitely, I would love to check that out.
No doubt.
So what's your next big project? What's your focus right now?
Right now is I'm working on a project with the Red Skull Preme. So it's like another mask that we made. Some people have been seeing it because it's just such a very iconic mask, but I want to be able to just let everybody know what's going on, because each particular mask tells a particular story of the project, and the project tells you what I'm going through at this point in time. Okay,
and now let everyone know where we can get your music and the mask.
Okay, so the mask, we still working on that, you know what I'm saying? A couple people asked me, we still working on that, but at least I'll be able to tell you first, and it won't be on some Nike drop shit to you where you're just waiting. But you can find that at allaboutpreme.com. You can find the music at PUSHAPREME, Pusha Preme everywhere. Just Google it. I swear to God, I'll pop up. We have new visuals out right now, Adam and Eve, Activision. Just check us out. You know what I'm saying? If you want something different, want a nice little secret artist that you keep to yourself, and then when you're ready, you tell your friends when they blow up, I'm that guy.
All right. Anything you want to say to your new fans here in Houston?
Yo, thank you so much for showing so much gratitude, and the hospitality here has been dope. You know what I'm saying, from day one. So I'll definitely be back. And anytime y'all in Tampa will win. I don't mean you guys can't win either. You come through and we treat you like family.